Hello there, welcome back to Morning at NTV. My name is Mala Kivila Odera. On Take Note this week, we are deliberate about having authentic conversations that we don't have on a day-to-day basis. And the mission is to educate you and to give you knowledge so you can live better. Now, Down syndrome, sometimes known as trisomy 21, is a condition in which a child is born with an extra copy of their 21st chromosome. Hence, it's another name, trisomy 21. The causes and physical and mental developmental, kind of delays and disabilities are, thanks to this. And so, however, people with Down syndrome can live healthy and fulfilling lives. You need to take note of that. Now, reality today is that the prevailing negative attitudes and low expectations, discrimination and exclusion ensure that people with Down syndrome are left behind, and we need to change that. So today we enlighten you on just that. Now in studios, I'm joined by Dr. Daniel Tumuina. He is a pediatrician at the Children's Clinic in Nalia. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mala.
You're welcome. Next to him is Miss Sylvia Nalumu. She is a mother to a Down syndrome son. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Madam.
You're welcome. And next to her is handsome Derek. Yes, he is a patient of Down syndrome, and so we're going to be having this authentic conversations this morning. Take note. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. The hashtag is Morning at NTV. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yes, so I think we'll start with Mom here. How's the journey been like? If you can summarize that for us. You being expectant, the news, beautiful news that every woman looks up to. And then, that journey, 9 months, very beautiful. And then giving birth to this bundle of joy. And you come to realize that this one might be special, more special than the rest. How was it for you?
It was not easy. The journey has not been easy. But by the grace of God, we've made it. We did realize it when he was born, but after 6 months, we saw that he was not a normal child. His growth was slow, the neck it was so soft. So someone said, this boy has a problem. We took him to Molago. We saw Italian doctors. They said he had a hole in his heart. The news was so breaking, and it was so like he was the firstborn. I was a young mother, but the good thing, I had a mother who was so supportive. He said, let's believe God, everything will be okay. Started praying for him. Till now, we've never heard about the heart hole again. Then they told us his growth will be slow. I think started walking when he was almost a year. But the good thing was the firstborn, the first grandchild in the family. Everybody loved him.
Wow.
He was so very looking boy. So we loved him. They say the first medicine is to love him, be patient with him. That's what God gave us. We accepted it. And God gave me other children, and they are normal children.
How many are we talking about?
There are 3 boys.
Okay.
Yeah. Then Derek was there. He was like, times he was like our doll. A doll in the house. Everybody loved him. He grew up like that till time came. He went to school, normal schools, but he would not pick up. The directors, they directed us to special schools. That's where I got skills like doing work, handwork. But now he's so useful in the family.
Wow.
The other children are at school, some went away from home. Now we stay together. He's so useful to me. He's so jolly, so happy, loving, caring for others. And most of it, what I know, it was by God's grace that Derek made it. He's a God-fearing boy.
Amen.
He loves God. He's a Christian, born again. He's an usher in church. And now as we are talking, he got a job in a certain school for special children. Wherever Derek goes, he's always known In our village, people know him more than me.
Yeah.
And now he has made me come in the studio. I've never dreamt about it.
You know, blessings upon blessings. Derek, let's talk. Now, this journey, how's it been for you? I'm sure you can't remember much of when you were a young boy, but now that you're an adult and you can, remember pretty much everything. How's the journey been like?
My name is Derek Nguga. I'm from Wakiso. I'm big that work, the church. I am the member of the church, and I'm be my boss, Madame Surivia, and let these people. Then let's take my job, living at home, chickens and pigs. But here I'm work my job to take love my mom, my father, Christopher Mobilo, my family, then I also love every world.
Wow. And congratulations on the job that you got.
Thank you.
How is it coming about?
I'm from Wakiso.
How's the job?
How is the job?
Job is fine.
Its job is good. Congratulations on that.
My boss, Aunt Rose, and they took one boy, Green and Berry.
Wow, amazing. Doctor, let's talk about, Down syndrome. And many are asking, can it be detected when a mother is actually pregnant? What's the genesis of it?
Okay, as you mentioned in your introduction, first of all, Down syndrome is the commonest genetic condition in the world. It's also the commonest cause of intellectual disability. And as you had mentioned, it's caused by having an extra copy of what we call chromosome 21. Now, we all have 23 chromosomes. Chromosomes are like the vehicles with which genes are carried, and they're right in the nucleus. Every cell of ours has a nucleus. Within the nucleus, you have chromosomes, and those chromosomes are where the genes are kept. So we all have 23 chromosomes from our father and 23 from our mother. So we all have 46. But sometimes you might have issues where you might have an extra chromosome. So instead of you might have like an extra chromosome 1, so you'll have 3 copies. So 2 from your mother and 1 from your father, or 2 from your father and 1 from your mother. So in Down syndrome, you actually have 3 copies of chromosome 21. And usually it's the extra chromosome tends to come from the mother. So very rarely, sometimes it can come from the father. And so it's common. It's getting quite common these days, particularly as ladies start having children much later in life. It's the chance of you having a child with Down syndrome tends to double every 5 years after 35 years.
After 35 years.
Sometimes you will get very young mothers having children with Down syndrome. So usually it's because of the extra chromosome. However, there are many health issues, psychological issues, and even stigma, because many people in our society don't understand what Down syndrome is.
Right. And doctor, maybe before you get into that, let's just talk about you mentioning that, it comes from that, 21st chromosome coming on 3 times. Is it then just a genetic disorder? Can something be done to stop it pretty much, or it's beyond our control?
No, most times it's spontaneous. So usually during, so most time it's not like it is. You don't say my grandmother had Down syndrome, therefore I'm going to have Down syndrome. No, it's usually just a spontaneous thing where you actually end up with 3 chromosomes. It comes from at conception, when the genes are separating. So for example, during conception, the chromosomes fuse and then they separate, and the child starts the cells start dividing and dividing. So sometimes you find that one of the cells doesn't divide properly, so you end up having an extra chromosome.
Can it be detected when the baby is still in the tummy?
Yes, you can be detected during the womb. It's not something that we do routinely in Uganda. It's done in other countries where you can actually look at some proteins as the mother is pregnant, and that's usually in countries where they discourage children from being born with Down syndrome, which we think is not a good thing, because children can actually be very productive in society, as you have seen with Derek. And so many times you find that in places like in the UK or in the US, they actually do a lot of screening for chromosomal conditions. And once they do that, then they do what we call genetic counseling, asking the parents if they can stop or abort or not. But here we don't encourage.
So ideally, it cannot be reversed. It's irreversible.
No, because it's genetic, it won't be. So, for example,
Okay.
yeah. So sometimes you might find that your obstetrician will ask you to do an ultrasound also, where they will look at the back of the neck of the fetus, and usually if it's very thick, you'll find that there's a high condition that your child will have a chromosomal condition. But even diagnosing even after birth is also a problem. That is why you hear Derek's mother saying that, for us, we got to know about something along those lines after 6 months.
Right.
And usually that's a clinical diagnosis. So the doctors just look and say, look, a child with Down syndrome has certain features, and the chances of those features being Down syndrome is very high. Ideally, we should be doing what we call karyotyping, which is looking directly at the chromosomes and actually counting them. Yeah, but we can't even do that in Uganda because we don't even have those tests. So usually we send blood to South Africa, and it's $500, very expensive. So one of the things we're trying to do is how do we support people who are suspected of Down syndrome, so they actually are diagnosed with Down syndrome, and then once they're diagnosed with Down syndrome, how do we make sure that the health complications, the social complications, and the educational complications are actually sorted out?
Okay, before I get to Mom here, let's just talk about Down syndrome. Does it have degrees of severity?
Yeah, so you have different people who will have different severity. So we mentioned that somebody who has Down syndrome, almost all children or all people with Down syndrome, almost like 99.9% who have some form of intellectual disability, and the spectrum of intellectual disability actually varies. So you might find that somebody has an IQ of 70 when the normal IQ might be something like 110. Someone might have an IQ of like 50. Another one might have an IQ of 100. Others might have mild disability. So it's a whole spectrum. The same way like some child might be born with a heart condition. 50% of children who have Down syndrome will have a heart condition. That's why you had Derek's mother saying, they found that he had a hole in the heart. Some of them also have what we call hormonal abnormalities, particularly the thyroid, where you find that a lot of metabolic issues come about.
Okay.
And they also prone to a lot of infections, particularly of the ears and also of the lungs, and also they tend to have a lot of visual problems, and also they are more prone to things like cancer and some intestinal abnormalities.
So that informs how then you take care of this child.
Correct. So you might have somebody who will have almost all those conditions. You might have somebody who just have one mild condition. You might find somebody who actually doesn't have any particular physical condition, maybe except the intellectual disability.
Right.
So there's a whole spectrum and there's a whole range.
What is it for Derek?
So Derek has his intellectual disability is not as bad, so that's why he's able to actually engage in society. He has a job. He helps out at home and the farm as well. You heard that he had a hole in the heart, which closed hopefully, but he also has a few infectious conditions which can easily be treated, and he's living a relatively healthy life.
Right. Mom, how was it for you just bringing up Derek to he's 30 years of age right now?
Yes.
Congratulations, you've done a good job. But let's talk about the cost of bringing up a child with special needs. How has it been?
Bringing up a child, these children are so expensive, but I thank God for health-wise, Derek didn't have a lot of illnesses. The problem he has is the ears. Sometimes brings pus, but the most expensive thing is their education. And by the time we took him to school, we didn't know. We took him to normal schools, but we couldn't cope with the other children. Even up to now, he cannot count money. Now you can tell him 200 it has fish. At home, we sell water. So you can tell him, bring balance. How much? 200. Which one? The one with fish. 100. The one with a cow, like that. He can get 1,000, say this is 10,000. That one completely, he didn't get it. Money, counting money, and even writing other things. Where he learned from the school, he learned to write his name from the head.
Oh, brilliant.
But now he has taken, I think, many years from school. When he writes it, he can make a double E where it wasn't a double E. But the rest, he just writes what you cannot understand.
Yeah. So for you, it was the school bit is
The
what
school
needed
yeah,
a lot
it
of
was
financial
their
input.
schools are very expensive.
Right.
And by the time you realize that he doesn't belong to these schools, the normal schools, it's too late.
Right. Okay. Derek, as we come to a close, what do you love doing? What you love?
I love my messages of the data room, the school, and work, and thankful to have my job, the tech, thankful MTV, but I'm going to take myself. Thank you very much to take my job and everything. I'll take the world, the people to live, wash the plates. My boss to give the money to give my mom.
Yes.
Thank you, everything.
Thank you so much. Doctor, as we come to a close, the clinic, the children's clinic Nalia, is doing something special to parents and even children who live with Down syndrome this week. Tell us more about it as we come to close.
Okay, so generally we work with the Uganda Down Syndrome Association and a lot of other organizations which specifically want to improve the quality of life for patients and children and people who have Down syndrome. Generally, throughout the week, throughout the year, any person with Down syndrome who just shows up at our clinic, we try and give them free care. So that's just something we do generally. This particular week, because on Thursday is World Down Syndrome Day, we're doing 3 activities. The first one is any child, whether they have Down syndrome or not, who comes to the Children's Clinic Nalia, we're giving free treatment.
Amazing.
And as a result, we're requesting you to donate something to the Down Syndrome Association, and this will be used to help parents and children with Down syndrome. Secondly, on World Down Syndrome Day, Derek and other people are going to participate in a fashion show that is going to be at the Design Hub and Industrial Area. That's during the day. And then on Saturday, we're doing a charity climb at Mbale, Mount Wanale, where we're going to also raise awareness for patients who live with Down syndrome, so we can assist them, particularly those who have educational challenges and also health conditions.
Do you intend in the future to take the services out of Kampala to other regions?
We're trying to bring as many partners on board.
Right.
Yeah, because we're just doing it as just as something that we do at the clinic, because we see so many children with Down syndrome, but they need a lot of help. So the reason we're here really is to try and see how we can mobilize as many partners as possible to improve. Because right now we have almost 70,000 people who have Down syndrome in Uganda, and so that's a lot of people. Many times they're hidden because the society thinks that they're doing nothing. There's stigma in families and in schools. So we're trying to create awareness and just make sure that to tell people that people with Down syndrome can actually live very, very productive lives, and they also deserve some attention as well.
Congratulations for what you're doing for many in society. Over 70,000 is a huge number. As we come to a close, Mami, I want you to speak to parents. This is your camera 1. Speak to parents who have children with Down syndrome, them that have been swarmed in this, actually are maybe drowning in this thing we call stigma. Talk to them. How did you manage to stand out and be confident about your child and actually raise him to what he is today? Speak to them, camera 1.
Okay, parents with Down syndrome children, it's not the end of the world. These are God-given children. You have to accept them as God has given them to us. And one thing I know, these are blessed children. They are blessing. We have to love them, be patient with them, take care of them. In the future, they are very useful.
Right.
Derek is useful to me because by the time the other children can leave you, but you stay with your child.
Yes.
It's so useful to me. So I encourage you, do what is possible, which is possible you can do. The rest you leave to God.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah.
Love them.
Yeah.
Very important.
Loving is the best.
Okay, all right. So if you know any child living with Down syndrome, parents to children with Down syndrome, you now know, you have the information. The Children's Clinic in Nalia is holding a week-long, free service kind of consultancy for you. So share that information. The hashtag is Morning at NTV across all the social media platforms. Thank you so much, Dr. Daniel Tumwine, for coming in studios. Miss Sylvia Nalumo, thank you so much for loving Derek. And Derek, congratulations again on your job, and we wish you all the best in the future. That's it for Take Note. Don't go too far. We'll be coming back with reality on the ground. Keep it here.